Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're doing episode number 27 of I Build Your Teams, the series where I build my viewers' teams into the best teams possible for my team unlimited and or competitive play based on how much MT they have and what their squad is currently looking like. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 11,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, and I would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Additionally, if you want to be involved in a future episode of the series, make sure you follow me over on Twitter. Link to my Twitter is down in the description. I tweet about this series on Friday or Saturday nights, depending on if I'm uploading it Saturday or Sunday. But yeah, that would be where you can look to be involved in a future episode. But without further ado, let's hop right into it. First team today comes in from my boy Harden. He's got 500,000 MT. I don't know what he means. Downgraded Alpi. My brain's must not be working, but who is Alpi? For Wall for the MT, thinking about replacing Eaton with Eddie Curry. I don't think that Eddie Curry card's very good. He is not a budget beast the way that he's been in previous years, in my opinion. You got Taco Dino, which I think is awesome. Villanueva Eaton's honestly pretty good as well, and then you have Chet as like a backup big as well, like an extra big. If Eaton isn't really fitting on the court, I feel like because he can't shoot. So I actually like your big man situation a lot personally, because I think you have three capable bigs in Dino, Eaton, and then Chet, and then obviously you have Taco as a dominant beast and a Charlie Villanueva, who can be a really good stretch with solid defensive ability and just a capable card as well. So I like your bigs a lot. Now, I will say I would upgrade backup point guard to Luke Walton. I think he's better than John Wall. It's just my opinion. He's also cheaper than John Wall. That's just my opinion. Small forward position, if you can get one of the RNG cards, a Danny Ferry, a Purvis Ellison, that would be awesome. If not, just go get a Jonathan Bender. He's a couple 100,000 MT, but he's totally worth it. I understand he's a pink down, but he's legitimately one of the best cards in the game at the small forward position right now, so I think he's definitely a great option as well. And honestly, the rest of your team, I don't think I need to see any changes right now. Second team today comes in from Gio. He's got 560,000 MT on current gen. Scotty Barnes and Gary Payton is solid. I would still pick up Luke Walton. You could have Luke Walton and Scotty Barnes and then sell Gary Payton. Scotty Pippen, CJ Miles. I think that's not bad. I mean, CJ Miles can play. He's fine there. Small forwards, you got Rudy Gay and Josh Smith. I do not like Josh Smith at all. You do have enough MT. I would definitely sell Josh Smith and make a replacement there. And then Isaac Eaton, Dino, and James Wiseman. So I would say to start off with, I would pick up one small forward. I don't honestly know which small forward I would recommend to you. Again, if you can get one of the RNG cards, that would be really nice. Otherwise, Jonathan Bender is probably going to be your best auctionable option. At least that's not like insanely overly expensive. I don't think there is a better auctionable option though, except for maybe Bill Russell, but Bill Russell's too expensive. So I would pick him up, and then you could have him at the 3, John Isaac at the 4. Your bench would be good. Then Rudy Gay, Dino Raja, I'm cool with that as well. You could also grind for Ed Pinkney. That's another option. Save you some more MT there. You could maybe have Bender and Pinkney and sell Rudy and Josh Smith, which I think would be very, very good at the small forward position. Your small power forwards are fine. Your centers are good. I think that might be the spot that I would look to upgrade with more of a bigger upgrade. If you could get a Kristaps Porzingis type of card at your center position, that would be really, really nice for this team. Although I will say, I've got my fingers crossed that this next week, when we probably get a bunch of opals for this Bracket Buster Spotlights, that we find ourselves an elite budget center in those opals. That is what I'm looking for this week in that. So hopefully that'll happen and we can all have some better center options for free. This third team today comes in from DG. He's got a very interesting team. His backcourt on both his starters and his bench is absolutely tiny. He has Tracy McGrady, who is one of the best cards in the game. I'm like almost wondering if I'm getting trolled with this team. That's how random this team feels. With that being said, we are going to rebuild it because we are going to make it much, much better looking right now. Throw it over here and let's see. Of cards that are actually in his lineup that I'd be playing, I would go with this. Luke Walton at the 1, Tracy McGrady at the 2, Ben Simmons backup 1, backup 2, I guess we go Vince Carter, because Vince is auctionable and not OD expensive. I think Clyde's pretty expensive. At the 3, do you have any good 3s that I would actually run? Not really, to be completely honest. Budget 3, we'll go Jonathan Bender. And then backup 3, we can go the Ed card again. He's cheap. 4s, you can go Jonathan Isaac. And you can go Dino Raja. And then 5s, you could go Kristaps Porzingis. And actually, let's do this. Something along those lines. You could build this team with the amount of MT you have right now, or very, very close to it at least. And this team is so much better than the team that you have right here. This is like one of the best teams in the game. The only cards you're really missing are Yao and like a couple other like the top cards, like a Bill Russell type guy, but this is an incredible team, and this team is way better than the one that you have right now. So I would consider building a team that looks something along these lines. I think that would be really beneficial for you. But yeah, that's about all I have to say about that team. For squad today comes in from JE. He's got 1 million MT. He's willing to spend it. I like his team. I do. Scotty Barnes 2 is interesting to me. I do think that's okay. I like the size that he gives you. I might prefer Scottie Pippen at the 2 because he has, in my opinion, a little better player build, and I like his release better. So I do think that would help with improvement, at least a little bit. I don't think it's necessary, though. It's kind of up to you. You want a point guard, and I can kind of agree with that. I don't love your backup bigs. I mean, they're not bad, but they're not great. Again, I kind of almost would say Jonathan Bender's a good upgrade as well, and then you can move Jonathan Isaac to the backup 4 and sell Evan Mobley. That's not going to cost you a ton of MT once you sell Mobley, and I think that'll help your team out a little bit, in my opinion. And I also might consider picking up a Mark Eaton, just having your last 3, so that you happily have a little bit better of a counter to a Taco or a Yao if need be. Point guard, I would get Jimmy Butler. You have the MT to get him. I think it's worth getting him. He's the best point guard in the game. You could have Luke Walton off the bench, and then if you wanted to run Scotty as well, now you have a guy like in Luke Walton who can play next to Scotty. Also has great size, but has a much better release. So then Scotty can be your primary ball handler with not as good of a release, and Luke can be more of a spot up with an improved release. So that might be something to consider as well. But yeah, those are the guys that I'd be picking up, are Bender and Jimmy Butler. Third to last team today comes in from HK. He says he's looking for Ferry and Purvis, 1 million MT. I mean, if you get those cards, you can sell your other small forward options, but for now, they're not coming, it doesn't seem like. Your backcourt is incredible. You have Taco and Yao and KG. I will say, I personally do not think running Taco and Yao together is something that I recommend unless you are playing against somebody else who is running Taco and Yao together. And even then, maybe not. Because having one off the bench is really nice, because then you can have like that giant at all times on the court, which I think is really nice. So I would say I would bring one of the 2 off the bench. Kind of up to you, whichever one you want to bring off the bench. And then I would pick up another option at the center position over Michael Olowokandi. Probably, again, a Dark Matter Kristaps Porzingis would be the main guy that I would recommend upgrading to, because I think that's the only area that you really need to spend MT on right now. Your team is awesome. So that is about all I have to say. Second to last team today comes in from Enzo. He's got about 1 million MT. Does not have great bigs. His guards are fine. I like Luke Walton and Şengün. I like Billy Knight, Bantam, especially with the duo. Scotty and Tim Thomas is fine. Maybe you upgrade Tim Thomas to Jonathan Bender at this point, but Tim can still play if you want to. You could also go with a cheaper option like a Paulo Banchero or a Jonathan Isaac. At the 4s and the 5s is, I think, where your weakest spots are. I would say E and Chet off the bench are totally fine. You do need new starters. You have the MT to get them. I think Adino Raj, especially if you can follow some extra Hoffs, would be a great option. Or, again, Jonathan Isaac is a great option. If you want to get Jonathan Bender at the 4, that'll work as well. Any of those guys at the 4 I think are awesome options. And then at the 5, I'm going to say the same thing. I would recommend getting a Dark Matter, whether that's David Robinson, Kristaps Porzingis, whoever you prefer, or even Yao Ming. You could go get Yao Ming. You could get Taco at the 4, and then you could run a guy like Dino at the 5, or a guy like... You can't run Isaac or those other guys at the or Jonathan Bender at the 5, but you could also get Taco at the 4 and consider running one of those smaller power forward center type cards at the 5 as well. So that's another thing that you could potentially do. And then the last squad today comes in from Edwin. He's got 180,000 MT. Says he needs a backup point guard, power forward, and center. Can't sell Wallace because he is trying to lock him in for the Dark Matter. I don't think you need a backup power forward. Ben Wallace is small, but he can hold it down. I think your backups, I honestly think your 3 through 5s are pretty great. Maybe you could use a backup center more than backup power forward, in my opinion, but there's not really that budget option right now for your team, so I wouldn't really change those. And then Vince Carter, Scottie Pippen, I'm a big fan of as well. Really, the only player that I can confidently say would be a good upgrade for your team is Luke Walton. I think getting him over Gary Payton gives you a lot more size and just a better overall team, which would be very nice. And I mean, that's about all I have to say, to be completely honest. If you want to get a backup big, I just don't know who for 180,000 MT is really going to fill that hole at a super high level. If you wanted to buy, I guess, a Jonathan Isaac instead of Ben Wallace to give you more size, you could do something like that. But I don't think anybody really quite falls into that price point right now of the top tier bigs. So for me, just Luke Walton's really the only upgrade that I'd be recommending right now. So that is going to do it for this video, though. I hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back with more 2K content very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.